Hello all, my name is Ruchita Kamble. I'm a data science and business analytics intern at the Sparks Foundation. This is my fourth task of the internship, in which I have to perform EDA on global terrorism data. My objective is to perform exploratory data analysis on the global terrorism dataset. As a security and defense analyst, try to find the hot zones of the terrorism and what all security issues and insights you can derive from the EDA. So let's get started. For the data pre-processing, I imported the libraries such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. I imported warnings to avoid the future warnings. Then I load the dataset. You can see that. Here are the first 5 rows from the dataset. Um, from info function we can see we have 135 entries, that is 135 columns in our dataset, from which 55 are float, 22 are integer, and 58 are of object type. Df.shape function shows us that we have 135 columns and 181,691 rows. The column function shows us the name of the columns. Since we cannot see it clearly, I used for loop and printed all the uh, column names. You can see that these are all the 135 column names. Then data cleaning. Since most of our columns are not useful in the analysis, I only took those columns which will be useful for my analysis. So these are the columns which will be useful in my analysis. Uh, I took them. Then I renamed these columns according to my preference. Uh, Here you can see the column names are changed. Then we can see we have 18 uh, columns, and uh, we can see we have 18 columns, their data types, if how many null entries are present in the data, all this. From isNull function we can see how many null entries are present. We can see that state, city, latitude, longitude, motive have many null entries present in the data. For the data visualization, I imported word cloud from word cloud. It shows the important words from the data. We can see words such as administer, tribal, herbal, ale, Anbar, Ireland, Northern, Kashmir, Jammu, and all this kind of. Further, I checked year-wise attacks. Uh, so these are first 5 rows, and attacks happen in the respective year. Um, I used a bar graph to show it visually. We can see that in the year 1971 we have least number of attacks, and in the year 2014 we have most number of the attacks. Then region wise attacks, uh, we can see here is the summary. Using bar graph we can see that most of number of attacks happened in the Middle East and Northern Africa, and least happened in the Australasia and Oceania. Further, to check country wise attacks, using graph we can see that most of the attacks happened are in Iraq and least happened in the Turkey. City wise attack, we can see that most attacks happened in the city Baghdad and least in the Athens. Mm. Further terrorist group-wise attacks. From the bar graph, we can see that Taliban has performed most attacks and Boko Haram has performed least attacks. Attack type-wise attacks. So we can see that bombing or explosion is the most famous way of attacking and hijacking is the least famous way of attacking. Target type-wise attacks. Mm, from the bar graph, we can see that most of the uh, attacks were happened on private citizens and property, uh, and least is other. So yes. Further group and country-wise attack. So we can see Taliban has performed most attacks on the Afghanistan and Boko Haram performed most attacks in the Nigeria. So in the last we have all the conclusions. These are all the conclusions. So in this way I performed EDA on the global terrorism. Thank you very much. Um, I performed uh, visualization using Power BI on global terrorism data. We can see that success rate by type of attack. We can see that most of the attacks were happened using bombing and the least were these are the top five attacks. Then success rate by type of attack. So most success rate was for private citizens and property, and then these are the top five. We can see that this is uh, private citizens, this is business, this is police, military. This is success rate by weapon type. We can see that most are the explosives. Okay. Then success rate by region. Middle East has most success rate for attacks. Then South Africa, Asia, then South America, Saharan, and all in all. Some of success by name in group. Uh, Here we can see if we choose some country, the data will be changed accordingly. Yes, yeah, this way. Number of attacks by year 1970. You see, it's increasing year by year, and most are in 2014. So, thank you very much.